this could be. I haven't seen my Super Nintendo since 2003. That's alright, I don't mind. I've got a Switch in the old switcheroo. My friend Mike and J-Mo too.
And say, all right, everyone, welcome back to the old switcheroo where we're talking gaming retro with Mike and JMO.
I'm Mike.
And I'm JMO. Play along on our epic quest to research and review all 250 plus games in the Nintendo Switch Online Retro Catalog. Today we are rolling and raging our way through the original Mario Party for the Nintendo 64 in an episode we are calling Mad About Minigames. Now, Mike, you get my double meaning, right?
No.
What? Well, we're crazy about minigames, but also we get mad about these minigames. Mario Party game frustrating, can it not be?
Yes.
Yeah. Sarah's feeling me.
Yes.
Mike said, in fact, in our pinball episode that Mario Party in real life would likely have a death toll. So here to put that theory to the test are three people extremely important to me. In preparation for this episode, we shared a couch, but over the years, we've also shared friendships, secrets, careers, and even marital vows. First up, please welcome to the show my poetically beautiful creator of beautiful poetry, Instagram's very own Jacqueline Francis, my wife Jackie. Welcome to the show, boo.
Hello.
Yeah, thanks for being here. How's your poem about Luigi performing on the gram?
Oh, I think it's got like 60 likes,
Yeah,
few comments. Poetry is a hard sell anywhere these days, so yeah,
I love your poetry though.
thank you.
And full disclosure, not the Luigi you might think based on this podcast.
Oh, 10 comments actually.
Okay,
I
all
think
right.
everyone knows what Luigi I wrote about.
And joining us for the first time is Jackie's longtime friend and my fellow Costanza-coded compatriot, the always entertaining Sarah Ford. How are you today, Sarah? You looking forward to pickleball on Tuesday?
I'm looking forward to pickleball and yes, ready to talk about Mario Party. So
It's
yeah.
gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Sarah on the pickleball court is like Sarah and Mario Party, full of little jokes and quips and
And I always lose. So it's exactly
no.
like Mario Party. It's a perfect comparison. Like I'm super enthusiastic and always lose.
That's the sign of a good player and a good game. And rounding out our panel today, some people say five hosts is too many, but to those people I say, be quiet, Mike. It's going to be great. Because Mario Party ain't a party without the Sultan of the Stream team, Kyle Ford from Instagram's Kyle Ford and of houseofkyle.com. Kyle, any fun junk food reviews coming down the pipe soon?
There will be some. In fact, I have a bacon-related one maybe today, so stand by.
What?
Mhm.
Like bacon sweet, bacon savory? Like give me a tease.
To find out. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, friends and our family, we have a lot of Mario to party, so I think it's time to roll to determine turn order. You guys ready to get into it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose.
Oh.
If we're rolling, I'm losing.
Already.
I'm the queen of the 1 and the 2 roll in Mario Party. That's my only distinction of Mario Party. Every version of the game.
You have a brand,
I have a brand.
and it's low roller. Yeah.
Yes, unless I need like a 2 to land on the star, then I get a 10.
Well, as described on Nintendo Switch Online, let's first talk about Mario Party on the Nintendo 64, released in 1999. Choose your character and help them become a superstar. This party game, released for the Nintendo 64 console in 1999, was the debut of an all-new, never-before-seen type of board game. Depending on the space you stop on, a minigame will start. Skillfully overcome the challenges those minigames present, and you'll gain advantages as you make your way across the game board. In this game, you don't just roll the dice, you're met with thrills traditional board games can't match. It's so packed with fun, Mario Party is no mere game. It's a party. All right, so let's take a look at the box art, since that was often people's first impressions. We've got Mario dead center, punching a dice block to signal the start of his turn. All around him, we have characters from the game performing a variety of game-centric tasks, such as rolling the dice, collecting stars, wielding hammers. Something really throws me off about this cover, especially when I'm trying to select the game from Nintendo Switch Online. Mike, I think you know what I'm referring to, right?
Yeah, so I think maybe this reflects the fact they didn't realize that Mario Party was going to become a big deal.
Right.
But having the dice block right below the end of where it says Mario Party with the large number 3
Mm.
looks like this is Mario Party 3. I don't know how that never came up, and it is extra confusing because I think, at least for me on Nintendo Switch Online, the order is Mario Party 3, then Mario Party, then Mario Party 2. So no, like that's confusing. And I'm like, wait, I have Mario Party 2 and 2 Mario Party 3s. What the heck is this?
So altogether, you have Mario Party 7, which I think is the game that Kyle and Sarah played a lot.
There you go. Yeah.
Mario Party 5 plus Mario Party 2 equals Mario Party 7. Adrian's Revenge.
Yeah, going for the Simpsons reference. Well, does anyone have any strong feelings about the box art? I had this game as a kid, and I thought this really drew me, and I thought it was super fun.
I like the shout out to the Rumble Pack, the breakthrough Rumble Pack technology.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like, I don't know, we didn't afford the Rumble Pack, so we would like borrow it from friends, and I would always feel like sad when I lost the Rumble.
Yeah.
Well, there's not really much to say about this box art, so I also wanted to talk about Mario Party's title screens in round 1 of the first annual Blooper Games. Meep, meep, meep. Jackie's like, why have you been practicing the Squid Game theme all
I'm
day?
practicing it for like 2 days. I'm like, what is happening? Now I know.
Wow.
Maybe Mike will put the actual Squid Game theme in there. I don't know. But, well, you guys have heard of Squid Game. These are the Blooper Games. In honor of the 4-player minigame madness that this series is known for, I'm going to challenge all 4 of today's players in a series of games that will test their luck, their skill, and probably their patience. Starting off with the first game for today, Entitled Screens. Now, for those who don't know, Mario Party has a fun Easter egg in which the main title screen is themed to whichever character won most recently. So in this icebreaker style get to know you game, I'm displaying all 6 title screens for our competitors. I'm going to ask each of them to select a title screen that calls to them and explain why. It can be something you vibe with, something you identify with, or you just like the overall energy of it. And before recording, I hid secret stars under 4 of the 6 images on this Google slide, specifically 4 images that reminded me of our panelists. So after all the players have made and explained their selections, I will reveal the winners. So is everybody ready?
We just have to pick one, right? We just have to pick
Yep.
one. All
Yeah,
right,
so
cool, cool.
describe the title screen and why you picked it. So Sarah, you want to start us off? You seem to understand the point of the game.
Okay, I got to pinch in a little bit here. So I get one of these 6 images I pick.
Correct. It can be you identify with it, or you think it reminds you of one of our panelists today, or you just like the energy. It's kind of a luck game.
Okay, let's see.
So we got Mario, Luigi, Peach, Donkey Kong.
And am I supposed to guess which one you thought of for me?
It's however you want to play. You got a 2 out of 3 chance of getting it. So don't
But
take it too.
what's the win? How do I win?
If the one you select has a star underneath it.
Oh, just so it's random.
Wait,
Like
so
Mario Party.
you just chose the stars randomly?
I picked stars if they reminded me of my 4 fellow hosts.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick the I'm gonna play strategic, even though I always lose. This is why I always lose, by the way, because I always try to play strategy, and there really isn't any to this game. Hence why I'm a huge loser. I'm gonna pick that rainbow because I think that reminded you of how I fell off the rainbow as the biggest loser in our most recent playthrough of this game.
So Sarah is choosing Mario's title screen, which shows him and his friends flying high above a rainbow that Sarah was not good enough to climb with us.
No, I dropped off of the rainbow in disgrace in the final screen of our game, and we were all like, "That was so harsh."
Very harsh.
Mario
Very
Party
harsh.
1 was not messing around. They just drop you off the rainbow.
And you can also pick the rainbow if you also identify with that one or think there's a star underneath it. So, babe, can you go next?
Yeah. I mean, okay, so I love the one with Princess Peach and the frosting just because she's like covering Wario with that. But I am gonna choose the one with Donkey Kong and the red shell because it reminds me of pickleball, and maybe you chose that for me or you because Donkey Kong is doing like a weird slammy. But I do like the frosting one a lot. So yeah, okay.
So Jackie is picking Yoshi's title screen, which is them all playing volleyball with a red shell. And yeah, it's very super pickleball coded, super competitive.
We've had a weird number of images on this podcast we've talked about of people playing volleyball with things that canonically hurt them.
It was that that was a Spanky's Quest reference, Mike.
Yeah.
There you go, Butch. Kyle, you want to go next?
Yeah, I was gonna say the opposite of Jackie. I was gonna be the volleyball because of my love for the shirtless volleyball scene in Top Gun. But I think I'm gonna go with maybe the frosting one because it's kind of like speaks to my love of the Willy Wonka lickable wallpaper kind of vibes it gives me. So I'm gonna go with that one.
It's actually quite the image. Jackie alluded to it, but Princess Peach's title screen has them all on top of a giant cake. Yoshi has tripped and fallen onto the what's that called when you put all the frosting in like the bag? It's a piping bag.
Yeah.
Okay, so and it's inadvertently blasting Wario in the face with a huge like, stream of white frosting. All right, so Kyle's going with that one, and so then Mike, did you have a selection?
Yeah, so going into this, the only one of these I've seen is the peach cake one, which reflects how my games have been going. And so I think so all of these not just are character specific, but it's tied into the each of them have a map that matches these, right?
Yeah, the title screen reflects not only the character that won, but the board that that character hails from. It's kind of like Street Fighter. Guile has a stage, and E Honda has a stage. Same thing with Mario Party.
I mean, you say same thing with, but that it feels like a thing they dropped.
Okay, yeah, that's
But
true.
yeah, and so I think that means that like the Donkey Kong level repels me somewhat because I found that one a bit annoying. I think like of these, the one that feels most intriguing, certainly the Yoshi one feels most party like.
Right.
I feel like I have to go with the Luigi apparently lying in wait behind some pipes.
He's definitely laying a trap back there.
Well, yeah. So the Luigi's title screen has him seemingly haphazardly playing with controls, and it looks to have accidentally ensnared Wario and is lifting him up, a la the crane game that traumatized Sarah to no end. Um, all right, so let's go through and see if there is a star underneath each person's rank choices, starting with Sarah, who chose Mario's title screen, and Sarah gets a star. Nice work, Sarah.
Hey.
All right, followed by Mike, who chose Luigi's engine room. Mike also gets a
Yay.
star. Nice job. Okay, tie game. Then we've got Kyle's choice, Peach's birthday cake. Deleting this picture, there is also a star under Kyle's. Can we go 4 for 4? Jackie chose the pickleball ask volleyball title screen, and there is the fourth star there. Okay.
Wow.
Tie game. Love it, love it, love
Hey,
it. All right, so we got some Mario Party trivia for you guys. It was developed and published by Nintendo. Excuse me, it was published by Nintendo and developed by Hudson Soft. We met them in season 1 when we covered Star Soldier, but they are most famous for the Bomberman series of games. And Mario Party is a fully voice acted, almost entirely in English. However, one line in particular was left in the character's originally intended native language. Did any of you guys catch one of the Mario Party characters slipping into a language that wasn't English?
No.
No? If you had to guess who you think is going to be, this isn't for points. This is just for funsies.
Man.
I would guess Peach if I had to guess. Or maybe Toad. Somebody with a high voice.
Quite the opposite.
Really?
I'm gonna guess Mario. I'm gonna guess Mario. Yeah.
So, according to a 2016 Silicon Era article, Thomas Spindler did the voice work for Wario in Mario Kart 64, as well as the first two Mario Party games. Those were Wario's first ever speaking roles, so the idea was floated by developers that he should be German. And as such, upon losing a mini game in Mario Party, Wario says, "So I missed," which is German for "aw crap." However, since most players mishear the line as "dough I missed," the Easter egg was largely undiscovered for nearly 20 years.
Wow.
what was
So
their rationale with making him German?
I'm not sure. It feels like kind of a mean stereotype.
Yeah, it feels like very like, oh, Germans are Nazis.
Oh,
Yeah.
like sweaty and like, And Mike, do we have any German listeners? I don't think we do, right?
I mean, not now.
Yes.
Well, no, because we're saying it is like they shouldn't stereotype German.
Yeah, I'm just being a goob. Um, Speaking of misunderstandings, the credits of Mario Party contain a number of amusing typos, such as when Mario voice actor Charles Martinet is miscredited as Charles Martinet with a double E, and when the cast of the game comes together at the end to declare, "We are the superstar."
Amazing.
It reminded me of our discussion of Jesus Christ Superstar, Kyle.
Yep. I love it.
Well, I feel like that carries throughout the series because didn't we used to always say, Kyle, like, you are party star?
Yeah.
One of them says at the end, you are party star when you win.
This screen leads me. I have a question about the premise of this game.
Yeah, so I'm showing the end credits where all the characters are standing on top of a giant star. So what you got, Mike?
Yeah, so the whole premise is both the manual and the game actually pretty much do the exact, almost word for word bit of they're all trying to figure out which one of them is the superstar, and so the solution is this game because first of all, because Toad says something about the real superstar would help people, and I don't know what part of these games is helping anyone, really. But more broadly, I feel like the question of which one of us is the superstar is solved by the fact this is not called Nintendo Party, it's called Mario Party.
You're saying it's biased?
I'm saying it's a foregone conclusion.
I'm also wondering what is with that red mushroom with the white spots? What is happening there?
Oh, I got a whole thing about it,
Okay.
Kyle.
Good.
Yeah, I saw you lock in.
I was like, what? Yeah.
And why is that not part of my life yet?
Yes.
We'll get there. Hold your horses, buddy. The idea of saying we are the superstar might not be a typo after all, because Mario Party is the first and perhaps only video game to betray Bowser's communist affiliations. When landing on one of his special Bowser spaces on the board, there is a 1 in 7 chance of triggering the Bowser Revolution, which divides coins equally amongst all players.
Yeah, there it is.
I need that. I need that revolution. That's
You
the only
need
chance.
communism, Sarah?
That's the only chance I have to win. This Bowser's revolution.
You're going to be that communist character in Seinfeld. Like,
I
I'm a
say,
communist.
bring it on.
And speaking of handouts, Mario Party's most infamous legacy occurred in March of 2000 when Nintendo reached a settlement with New York Attorney General Elliot Spitzer after his office received over 100 complaints from consumers who claimed that Mario Party was causing burns, blisters, and even punctures of the hand by forcing them to rotate joysticks at dangerous speeds. You remember this, Sarah?
Unbelievable. No, I did not know that, but that's amazing.
This led to Nintendo as a settlement committing to send a free set of 4 protective gloves to any of the 1.2 million customers who purchased Mario Party pending proof of purchase. The potential cost to Nintendo was approximately $80 million in damages, although by all accounts, very few Nintendo customers actually took them up on the offer. This does, however, make Mario Party the only game on Nintendo Switch Online to open with a safety warning, which Kyle and Sarah did not believe existed.
Amazing. Thankfully, that was the hardest thing Elliot Spitzer ever dealt with, too. So,
Yeah, the biggest case.
How did they think the gloves were going to help?
Well, can't burn your skin.
It's like when you weightlift or something and you need the gloves on the bar, but this is for the modern.
I just think that's a really weird for the modern man.
Yeah.
Very symbolic of what has happened to.
Yes, it's like work gloves so that we can rotate our joysticks.
That's like really weird and sad.
It's really weird.
Didn't they then have to do Wii straps a few years later?
Yeah. Make sure you don't fling your Wiimote into the screen.
Oh man, we went through so many Wiimotes. Sorry, that's a side note, but
it's all related. It's crazy Jackie mentions weightlifting though, because Nintendo didn't want to produce their own gloves and have their name on this thing. They wanted to just move past it. So by all accounts, I mean, and let me know in the comments if you know this is false, but it looks like they just mailed people a copy of Harbinger gloves, which are for weightlifting.
Amazing.
So
it's really ironic and interesting to me.
Yeah. It's like, who's to say what the right way to use a weightlifting glove is,
Right.
really?
Yeah. But I do like this game because it forces people to be in the same room together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we played it online and it kind of didn't hit the same.
Mm,
Yeah. Well, in 1998, like you kind of,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Well,
right?
yeah, I don't think online gaming was really much of a thing yet.
No,
I don't
no.
think so. I
Yeah.
think
No.
you had to like actually be in the same room. I don't
I
know.
think the first Wii was the first one where I remember that you could play, because I remember playing Mario Kart with people. Like you could just, play online with different players. That's the first time I remember that. I don't remember that prior in any Nintendo. I could be wrong about that, but
But I mean, this was like when Mike and I were probably the closest as friends. Is that he would come over every New Year's, Mike. Remember, and we'd stay up past midnight just playing Mario Kart, the battle mode, like for hours and hours and hours. Like I was a big couch co-op
Also,
kid,
a
and
lot of Smash Brothers.
yeah, yeah. Kyle, was this did this hit for you? Old school Nintendo 64 multiplayer games.
We were super into GoldenEye and Mario Kart. Less so
Yeah.
Mario Party. This hit a little bit as I was almost graduating from college, so I'm a little bit older. So like I was a little bit out of it for this first one. I came back in like four. But yeah, GoldenEye and 64 and Mario Kart were the two biggest multi.
although we might have played some of those. If this one came out in 99, we might have played two or three with Connie and Dave because we
Maybe.
played a lot when our kids were little because we couldn't go anywhere. So we'd put our kids to bed and then people would come to our house. And so it was just something to do when people came over. So that's why we played so much.
Mm-hmm.
Is because we had to do something at home. And Kyle doesn't really like board games. Like I like board games, but Kyle's more of a video game guy. So it was just an easy way for us to do something with friends that it was a good compromise
Mm-hmm.
between the people who like board games and the people who like video games. Because it's like, oh, it's like a little bit of both.
Both,
A little
yeah.
bit both. Yeah. And so Mike, did we play this as kids? I know I liked it, but I might have been more of a my brother's game.
Yeah, like I know I played this some as a like. There's definite ones in here that I remember, but I don't think it was that much.
When you say ones and you remember, you referring to the mini game specifically?
There's mini games and even there's scenes like the characters select. I remember.
Yeah. And babe, you had Nintendo consoles as a kid. Did you play with your brothers? Were they into Nintendo like you were, or were they more of
Oh
like
yeah,
a
we were like a big Nintendo family, a really big N64 family. We played this a lot, and I actually really love it because like it's how me and my brothers bonded in a way because they're so much older than me, but this was sort of this interesting way we could all kind of come together. Like it equalized us all in a way. Like we all had our separate lives and were had separate ages, but there's something about like the N64 games we played where like we could still have that, you know?
I think that's what Nintendo does so well. I mean, that's the beauty of Nintendo is I think they've always been focused on like multi-generational, like grandma can sit down and play and like the kids can play and it's like I mean, it doesn't mean everybody can play every single game, but with things like the tennis games, like all those are really designed for all ages, which I think it is really cool.
Yeah, because even my mom would try and play. Like my mom played with us too, and there's something about video games now that aren't as accessible and that are very exclusionary.
Yeah.
Not like Nintendo games per se, but definitely like the games my students play, a lot of them where they aren't very inclusive and especially towards women, like the community, in my opinion.
So Kyle, Sarah, your kids though, they're no, it's she's right though. She's absolutely
Totally.
right. But so Kyle, Sarah, your kids are online multiplayer, the children of the online revolution. Do they ever do couch co-op and all in the room fighting against each other?
They did more when they were younger, And once in a while, they'll have friends over and they'll play something. Usually it's Smash Brothers when they come over, but most of the time, most of their multiplayer now is online PC gaming. But they do once in a while. I think they still appreciate that it's fun when people are over.
And they play with the nieces too.
Oh
Like
yeah.
anytime we have multiple ages, like when they're playing with their younger cousins, um they always go to the Mario Suite, Mario Party and Mario Kart and Super Smash Brothers and all those.
Yeah, one of my fondest memories is playing Mario Party with my nieces and nephews, and babe, what are the age ranges on Trevor, Kayla, and Matthew?
Well, Trevor and Kayla now are in ninth and 10th grade. She's turning 16 this month, which is crazy because, and then Matthew is entering middle school soon, I think. Like he's in sixth grade.
So we could all play the Mario Party on the Switch together. There's something about the turn-based and like, okay, here's the mini game, and it's just this one control, and you're just using the joystick. People of all ages can keep up with it, and I really like how Sarah mentioned, like the Wii, started to make gaming for more people. So the Wii is one of the top-selling consoles of all time because of the elderly population of the country,
Oh,
and a
I
lot
didn't know
of
they played that.
yeah, in almost every senior citizen home and caretake facility, there's going to be a Wii because there's no buttons. It's all just motion. And
Oh,
yeah, isn't that
it's
nice?
interesting because you think that there's this sort of stereotype like the elderly population is just like, oh, new technology,
Yeah.
but that totally makes sense because it is
Eh,
very accessible.
I mean, at this point, the elderly population would have been around for the start of video games.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Well, so does anyone remember beating this game either for this podcast, Mike, looking at you, buddy, or back in the day?
Define beating this game.
So Derek kind of ruined things for me because I didn't think I was going to have to beat this one, but apparently you can roll credits. So rolling credits on Mario Party.
Uh, Definitely not.
Okay. Kyle,
Yeah.
Sarah, Jackie.
No, I don't think I have on any Mario Party. Yeah.
I don't think we've ever played any mode that you could even beat it. Like all we ever did was play with groups of friends. Like I don't think any of us ever sat down and played like single player.
Oh, I did, but there was a version on the GameCube where I played that alone and won,
Yeah. Yeah, and there is a single player mode in this game, but it doesn't let
which
you
is
beat it.
it was low-key sad to be honest.
Yeah, I never liked playing Mario Party alone.
Did it
There
just
was
put like CPUs for you to play
Yes,
against or
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's demoralizing.
it is.
So they just win every mini game like handily or
It varied. They're like memory games, they would be like frustratingly stupid. But then a lot of the other ones, um, they were much better at.
What difficulty did you set them to?
I tried it at normal and it did not go great, and so then I switched it to easy, and it still didn't go great, but it was closer.
Yeah, it felt like more of an actual game.
No, game implies a lot less frustration out of that.
I don't think Mike had a good time. We're gonna get to it. Hold your horses there, buddy. So as some of you may know, I am striving to beat as many games as possible for this podcast. So to roll credits on Mario Party, you need to play on the final secret game board, which only unlocks after you collect 100 stars. Each game takes a minimum about 45 minutes to complete, and each game you're averaging about 2 to 5 stars per player. So at first, I thought there was no way I was going to be able to achieve this feat in a week, but there's a trick to it. At any point, you can set any of the players to be controlled by AI. So I set all 4 players to be controlled by the computer and let them play against each other. And as long as you switch them back to human players before the final turn ends, you bank all the stars the AI collected for you.
I feel like you're like a slave owner. You're like you're like all these like AIs are just like producing stars for you.
This is probably the closest I'll ever come to mining cryptocurrency.
I was gonna say just like mining stars.
I let the AI fight it out for 17 hours over the course of the last week. So I can't say I'm exactly proud of myself, Sarah, but I did beat this game.
Nintendo.
Family computer.
Wow.
Yay.
Mike, are you objecting to my sound effect being used for this one?
Not really.
Okay.
That doesn't sound like a ringing endorsement either, though.
Mike wanted to get the sound effect for a baseball simulator game in which he had the baseball teams fight against themselves and he got to the end of a tournament. And I said no.
Oh, right. Then yes, I am objecting.
No! So, guys, that's going to bring us to minigame minute number 2. Thanks for the Number-ies. This is a memory challenge. Star goes to whichever player gets the most correct answers. Shout it out if you know it. All the answers are numbers, and all the answers were covered in the previous trivia segment. So let's see who spaced out the least. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
I spaced out the most.
Jackie's not going to get many of these. Maybe, babe. All right, first one. Shout it out when you know it. In North America, Mario Party was released in the year of our Lord.
1999.
1 point for Sarah. Okay. Wario's German voiceover lines went largely undiscovered for how many years?
20.
Kyle. Kyle gets a point.
So I listened.
Charles Martinet's name is misspelled in the credits. His full
With
name
2
misspelled.
E's. With 2 E's.
Hard to
Containing-
name.
Containing how many E's total?
2,
2.
1.
3.
Jackie gets it. 3.
Charles. Yeah, okay.
Charles has an E in it. Good job, Boo.
I feel like I should get a point for that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to let me finish. All right. When encountering Bowser, what are the odds his communist revolution will begin?
1 in 7.
Kyle, good job. Nintendo agreed to send a glove to every customer of Mario Party at a potential cost of how many dollars?
80 million.
85.
All right. Sarah gets it. Okay. It's a real barn burner here. How many stars do you need to beat Mario Party?
100.
Kyle pulls ahead. And then that's it. So Kyle gets a star with 3
That's
points.
right. That's right.
Ah.
Yay, Kyle.
Nice.
Good job, Kyle.
I don't know. I think it's a Bowser space. I think
Yeah.
you need to give him a negative star.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Oh, sorry. It's Bowser.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
So let's get into the JoyPros and the JoyCons of this game. We'll go over what we like about it first. I think first and foremost, the mini games are what this makes this series memorable and this game memorable. I'm showing our panelists here screenshots from some of the games that I think we enjoyed more than some of the other ones. Does anybody have a favorite type of mini game from the Mario Party series?
I usually like, you know what I like? It's called Saucer Swarm, but I don't think they have it in this one. But all you have to do is like shoot. I think it's in one of the later games, but I like anything where you don't have to do multiple things at once, where you can just kind of like move and shoot or like move a thing up and down. I like when there's some kind of timing and strategy to it and it's not just random, but I don't like it when it's too complex, like run over to the mushroom, pull it up out of the ground, plant it over here, and then stomp on it to make it grow. I'm like, that's too many things to remember. You know, I like a real simple 1 to 2 buttons.
You're a 2-button gal.
2 buttons.
I like when you have to, like the bottom one there with the rowing on the raft where you have to do, like both of you have to do left at the same time or whatever, like, because it's more frantic and hilarious.
I'm the opposite of Kyle. Like, I like the ones where it's like more individual based, like the one where you do the facelift on Bowser, or the one where you like trace.
Yeah.
I like those the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what's that called in Squid Game? The Danganronpa game where they have to like cut it out perfectly. So that's kind of
yeah, totally. The cookie.
I forget what the actual name of it is. I personally I really like ones where you are 2v2. The game divides you up into teams based on where you landed on the board, and I think that's the real genius of this game because you can't get too competitive or too bullied because you never know who's going to be on your team at the end of the next turn. So, you know, like when we were doing the bobsled race and you and Jackie and Sarah went right off the edge and that was real satisfying. Or like the asymmetrical games like 1v3. Sarah had a creepy strategy to win as the victim in the crane game, which was to pretend she was asleep.
That's what you were supposed to do, wasn't it?
No, so
I misunderstand the game.
you did. Yeah, for those who aren't familiar with it, you play. Oh, you thought only one of the dolls were real.
I thought you were supposed to pretend to be asleep.
No, you just
No?
pound A to wriggle out of the grasp.
Oh, and I just didn't try to get out of it. Is that
No,
what
you just let it
happened?
happen. But what Sarah's referring to is that there's a really creepy game where one player is a claw machine and the other players are the dolls, and you have to try to not get taken because you lose 30% of your coins if it takes you. It's really detrimental, and Sarah just laid that.
It was really weird. And it was like Wario grabbing Peach, so it was extra uncomfortable while she was like sleeping.
And we know he's German, so that's a thing apparently. Like, it's not. In Germany, it's not. It's not. Listen earlier, there was a joke about it. Mike, any mini game musts for you? Any type you like more than others?
I think probably the ones that have a mechanic that allow you to kind of get a bit better as it's going. So things like the bobsled or the rail car, where it kind of feels like you don't have to have it down from the start, as opposed to a lot of the ones where it's if you don't know how early you have to jump on something, for example, and you're knocked out immediately. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to see that game again. I'm not going to remember what that needed. Whereas the ones where it was a complete erase usually had enough that you could have okay, I started badly and I've come back or something like that.
Well, these mini games have a serious learning curve. Like in a lot of these versions of Mario Party, it's like you have to play the game so many times to even see all of the mini games. And then, like Mike pointed out, to remember the mechanics of each one, you have to see each game 2 or 3 times. And then it's like by then there's a new Mario Party out by the time you finally feel like unless you're playing for hours a day, right? But for like most people who are just playing once in a while on the weekend or whatever, by the time you learn all the games, there's a new Mario Party out. At least that was my experience.
Yeah, like I really didn't like the fishing one because I felt like I was doing the same movements on the controller, and it is one where all 4 players are fishing and there's things moving. You have 3 rows of coins going across.
Oh,
you're trying to catch.
You're throwing trying to get the chests.
I was doing the exact same motion every time based off of what it said I needed to do to cast. And I never knew where it was going to go. And it was incredibly frustrating. I'm like, I am doing the same thing and getting wildly different results.
Yeah.
I do not know where to go from here.
Yeah, there's definitely some are way better than others for sure.
I wonder if it's almost like intentional that they have so many and have so many that you almost can't become a master at one of them because it's like you want to have that surprise each time you play with different people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it more random. Yeah.
This game is not meant to be played like other games. You're not supposed to like take it this seriously. You're not supposed to try to 100% it. You're just I loved how we played it. Like you guys came over,
I think
got a
that's
couple
why
of
I like it.
Yeah, got a couple of brews, got some pizza. That felt so 90s, you guys. I freaking loved you guys coming over. Like we got to do it.
The pressure off.
Yeah, absolutely. And then even on the Discord, Mike, like I thought it was fun. Like you can't play this against the computer. It's not how it's meant to be played.
Yeah, although of the two, I feel like, and this is a Nintendo Switch Online issue, I feel like its multiplayer stuff struggles a lot. And so, like, playing by myself was still less frustrating in that regard because at least I felt like I had the response times that I needed on things. And that was a frustrating pattern, especially for things where it's like there's a visual cue that you're waiting for an action you have to do repeatedly, and it's like I'm not getting that fast enough online, and that feels like not a problem that should be happening now.
Yeah, I agree. I want to talk briefly about the board game element because it's really just there to give structure to the mini game tournament, but I think it serves its purpose well. It gives you a really clear beginning, a middle, and an end. It's important for the play session to feel satisfying, especially when you're with other people. I've played mini game collections without this binding element, and they never really build towards true drama. And also by having you use coins you get from mini games to purchase points towards winning the overall game, you keep any player from ever feeling impossibly behind, unless you're Sarah, whose bad luck was epic and legendary. Yeah. So we won't go into too much detail on the boards because I know most of our
I
panel.
want to know what's going on in the bottom right one.
Oh yeah, let me get to that here.
Okay.
So, um, there are 8 boards in this game. I'm not counting the single player modes and the training modes. You've got Mario's Rainbow Castle, which is where most of our panelists played to prepare for this episode. But there's also DK's Jungle Adventure, Peach's Birthday Cake, Yoshi's Tropical Island, Wario's Battle Canyon, Luigi's Sweaty Steamy Engine Room, and the 2 unlockable boards. Really? Nothing for Sweaty and Steamy Engine Room? Okay, guys. Too late.
Wait,
And there's
is
2.
that the real name?
No!
Oh, I just thought it was the real
I did too. You're making that up? I didn't know you were making a joke.
You thought they called it Luigi's Sweaty Steamy Engine Room?
Hey, I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Luigi in a sweaty engine room.
We accepted it.
You're like, yeah, that's favorite.
I like how the Luigi one is kind of like sexy.
Sweaty, sexy engine room.
Look at the engine room. It's like industrial.
How is that sexy?
I don't know.
Male.
It's just
It's like male.
it's
Male.
giving goth club vibes.
Okay. Luigi's a bit of like a leather daddy.
Yeah.
Well, then the last. There we go, Mike. AI is gonna love that one. The bottom 2 boards, Bowser's Magma Mountain and Eternal Star. So Kyle was distracted by this beautiful shopkeeper character.
yes.
Mario Party, I think, has really great presentation. For how simple the mini games are, and it's just a
Really
board
great
game.
presentation, and then there's these weird.
What?
There's these weird guys with bow ties.
Okay. Jackie's referring to the so this game does a neat thing where instead of having menus, you explore a village, and every building is a different function. So there's a building for the sound options, there's a building for your collectibles, there's a building for single player mode, and so Jackie's referring to the toads that who work at the Toad Bank. What's wrong with their bow ties? They got little. It's cute.
I actually don't like that map thing, though, that you're talking about.
A little village.
I feel like that's unnecessarily confusing. Maybe it's just me, but I don't want to have to figure out which stupid hut to go into to get to a 2-player game. Like if I'm sitting there with my friends having some beers and playing Mario Party, I'm like, oh, am I supposed to go on the pipe or the mushroom or the little hut to like select my gameplay? I guess I'm just too old to appreciate that.
She hates joy. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. I feel like Kyle's into it though, because Kyle's like an Oz fan. It's like a different world, right, Kyle? You're with me on this.
What is it? What is the thing?
I think you have to be artsy to appreciate stuff. I'm like, I just want a practical like list of options.
What is the building to the left of the pipe supposed to say? I can't even read it. It's like some kind of
It says bonk.
bonk.
There's a bank.
A bank.
I have to run to the bonk.
Yeah.
The one to the right, it looks like a church. Like with
That's the spiritual toads.
I thought the bow ties guy were doing door knocks to invite you to their Bible study in that building. To be honest with you.
It's Toad's cult.
Yeah.
Toad's creepy cult.
Listen, y'all got jokes about the menu town, but Jackie was asking about the board game that was the Shattered Star.
Yeah.
So at the end of the game, once you've played all the boards and gotten to 100 stars, Bowser ambushes Menu Town and beats the hell out of them and steals all of your items you've collected over hours of playing this game. And so if you look on the bottom right screen, you actually see the little bank guys cowering behind the wreckage of Bowser's Wrath. Name one other game where the menu makes you emotional. I felt bad for these little bow tie guys.
Is it actually called Menu Town?
It's called Toad Village, I think. But
Okay. I was going to say, please tell me they did something. They did not call it Menu Town.
no, they weren't that
Okay.
lazy.
Oh, that's really sad. They're so innocent and lovely.
Right? Yeah. And I was like, Bowser, give those stars back. And so then you travel out to outer space and you have to get all your stars back from Bowser and Baby Bowser. And then you reunite the stars.
I feel like
and
the
that's
only other menu related thing that's maybe emotional is Resetti in Animal Crossing. When you reset and he yells at you.
Yeah.
Oh. I never reset.
If you reset, Resetti comes and lectures you for like 10 minutes.
No, only if you reset without saving.
Without saving, right? Exactly.
Oh. Yeah, because it could erase your data.
Pretty sure Doki Doki did some menu stuff, but that game is one giant asterisk.
Yeah, Doki Doki Literature Club?
Yeah.
I don't know if you played those, Mike.
I haven't played the like plus one that they released. So just
We
the
gotta have a
first one.
conversation about that. That's cool. I didn't know you knew those. Well, so just getting back to the presentation here, music was composed by RPG alum Yasunori Mitsuda, who worked on Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy, and the Xeno series. His themes are just so memorable in this game. The tutorial music, the podium moments. I feel like if I asked you guys all to picture Mario Party music, you could do it pretty easily. Like, I think it's really iconic. And it's just chock full of these unnecessary little touches like Menu Town. Each board has a story that unfolds as you play. So on Princess Peach's birthday cake, you're lighting the magical candles. In Wario's level, you are negotiating peace between the red bombs and the black bombs before your inauguration.
I wasn't.
You wait, what, Mike? You were trying to stoke war between them?
I was being fired out of a cannon by Bowser. Winning, you get to have peace.
That's true. Although I think Bowser just. Oh, right. You got fourth place.
Wait, what is Peach doing again in the top right?
The Wario map has 4 islands of red and black bombs that are like two islands each that are out some sort of perpetual war with one another. And you are trying to bring peace to them.
Oh, I love that.
So Peach brings peace. That was tough. The 2 Yoshi wayward lovers, the 2 Yoshis are in love but separated by whirlpools and then reuniting the stars. I just kind of like that. And then as Sarah already touched upon, the podium moments where it celebrates all the players except the 4th player.
That's just so harsh. I mean, in the later versions of Mario Party, they do harsh things where they drop the players off one by one, but at least everyone gets dropped off. Like, you remember that, Kyle, right? Like how it would there was one where you're like all 4 of you are soaring up to the clouds, and then it's like it drops the 4th place, then the 3rd place, then the 2nd place, and then the last one shoots up and you are party star. But like this was just so harsh that just the 4th place it just doesn't get to stand on the podium with everybody else.
It does feel like this has harsh decisions that it's making for players, because the other thing would be the amount of times that I lost coins for things that I'm not used to being situations that I lost 15 coins for winning a mini game.
You should have known better.
Yeah, apparently I should have known to lose a little bit. It was Cash and Bash, where because nobody hit me, Bowser took 15 coins.
Lose a little bit. Lose a little bit. No, okay.
I want to say that I feel like from the other Mario parties I played, this had more maps than any. Like having 6 starting maps that did not need unlocking feels like a lot more than the other Mario parties that I've played.
I think you're right. I feel like the later ones have like 3 maps that it starts you out with, and then maybe you can open 1 or 2.
Yeah, and so I did actually, I really enjoyed that because I like it where, especially for a game like this that is fundamentally like a multiplayer game, having it where that much is available from the start rather than, oh, there's other things that you can unlock eventually. It's like, well, yeah, that means that I and other people have to collectively put in a bunch of work on this, and that's not this kind of game.
Unless you farm out AI to do it for you.
Well, there is a mode, a Nintendo Switch Online, that they've forgotten about called SP mode, where the save file has stuff already unlocked for you. So I've been saying it for 2 seasons. Nintendo, come on, Nintendo, listen. That's easy press. You added SP mode to your games. That's a tweet. Okay. I don't know. I just want them to do it so badly. Well, I hope this isn't too cringy, but Kyle, you're our resident movie buff, so I was hoping if you could talk a little bit about the cinematic moments of the Mario Party mini games. Do you agree that the games look pretty cool and that there's like some film tricks? Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's all. I'm trying to think if it's this one or the later ones, but there's always like the big camera swirls around to kind of set the stage before it lands on the carts or whatever. Like that. Yeah, I feel like they're pretty cinematic.
And there's little things like, when Donkey Kong, gets to the Bowser space, he breaks the 4th wall and looks at the camera because he can't believe what's happening to him. There's some nice tension with the music and like Boo's approaching, and it's like it gets more and more tense. I don't know. So Before this turns ugly, any other Joy Pros we didn't talk about? Things you like about Mario Party that you feel like we didn't properly cover? Anybody?
I'm going to preempt one that I think is going to show up as a Joy-Con, but I think it's a pro. How they do it here is a pro.
Okay.
The stars at the end. This is the only Mario Party of the ones I played where those three stars that get handed out at the end are always for the same things.
Oh yeah.
And I think Mario Party has this reputation of random stars at the end totally screw up who's winning. And here, where that's actually a known thing, it's sometimes tough to control them. Like, depending on the map you're doing, I think there's no way to make sure that you landed on the most green spaces on the board. Some maps you can do that intentionally, others you can't. But like that's comes to mind as a good example of like it's always those same three things. And so I also think that that probably means in this one, when they say who they think is going to win, I think it's because the game already knows who's getting those three stars at that point in time.
Oh, interesting.
Mm.
So what Mike's referring to is that in the last 5 turns, Koopa comes out and makes a prediction.
Right.
And I do wonder, leave a comment if anybody knows the metrics behind that, because in my research I didn't find it, but it would be interesting to see what that's based on. I kind of just assumed it was to rile you up, and keep your interest for the last 5 turns.
Yeah, and I think it from the couple games I played, I think that is what it is that it basically goes, if we gave the 3 stars now, here's the winner.
Yeah.
I don't know if someone has mentioned this, but I really like how this game is more fun. Like, I like how if you're sitting with someone next to you, like it makes it fun when you're like riding in the like mine cart together. You can actually like communicate together, like in the same room to do even better in the game. And I think like that's like this really so that's like a really like beautiful thing. And like Jeremy, like I constantly like okay, so like Jeremy and his brother like constantly play Call of Duty and like Elden Ring or whatever they play just like online to the point where like he like never sees his brother like in real life. And
Not as much as I want to, Jonathan. If you're listening, let's hang out in real life. I miss you.
I was thinking like it would be really cool if like modern games created something like this where like if you're in the same room together, you're gonna have more fun and like communication is almost a necessity to do better in the game, but in real life. Like I don't know how to explain it.
No, yeah, it'd be cool if games were like, okay, there's a gameplay incentive to being together in the same room and sharing a meal.
But like you could play this online and be like, oh, turn left, turn left. But it's just there's something really fun about going back to that because like I don't even think I've done that since I was a kid.
And it felt great, right? Like we had a really fun night, and I was stressed. I was really stressed that week. You guys know that. Like I really needed that, and it was an endorphin hit, babe, that you don't get from online gaming. I completely agree.
You actually agree? Because I'm very like I lean very like anti social media in a way, and like young men especially, like their social media has been like video games, where like they largely like have just stopped seeing each other in real life, and like loneliness levels among young men have like risen drastically since like the 2010s. And like I don't know, there's something like really beautiful we got to experience where we like played games like this together in the same room.
And I will say though, like in defense of online gaming, Mike and I played on the Discord with Lisa and friend of the show John. And Mike, I had a great time. Like that was also fun. And it was interesting in a different way too, because like I'd never really hung out with John before, and Mario Party gave a nice structure to our first hangout. And you know what I mean? And I think it's like a party game. It's an icebreaker. It's something like at one point I went up to go to the bathroom and I was like, wow, this is a multiplayer game. I can go get a snack and not make everyone pause and wait for me.
Yeah. I think part of the thing that you're talking about that makes it where you can have this experience in person, I think, is because the gameplay itself is not so challenging. Like if you're playing Call of Duty, like my son would not get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of, you know?
No,
what I
he's
mean?
screaming.
No, he's up there screaming at his other players or whatever. So yeah, I think the fact that it is very like you can have conversations in between turns, and I think is really nice. I like that it's like that type of a game.
Yeah. And I totally get like playing online, you got to meet someone that's a fan of yours, and the pros of that are really, really cool. But like
Breathtaking.
truly bonding with someone is like an embodied experience, you know?
Yeah. And I've always loved that about Nintendo.
Yeah, and we're talking about the pros of the map of the gameplay, right? Just in general.
Or anything. I think we're about to start complaining about the game. So anything else we have nice to say?
Oh, I wanted to say something good. I think somebody already kind of touched on it, but I love the different things that they do with the maps. And I've only played one map on this Mario Party 1, but I'm really familiar with the ones that Kyle and I used to play, like the Wii Mario parties and the GameCube ones were probably the ones that we played the most. But it was just always so much fun. There's one where you're like building a town. It's almost like Monopoly. You have to like build up these hotels. There's ones where you're on a train and the train cars keep moving. I remember we played that one a lot. And so I just think it's fun that you can play sort of a traditional board if you want, but then there's all these other ways that you can kind of play. Or remember the booty boardwalk, Kyle? That was the one that's just a sprint to the end. And you can get as many stars as you want. You don't have to pay for them in that map. You just have to get to the end of the boardwalk and then you get a star. So you're just like sprinting down the road over and over and over again. That was always like a fun one. So it's like there's so many different ways that you can play, which I think is really a cool thing about this game.
Sorry for sounding like such a boomer.
In my day.
I feel like your audience probably skews younger and they're like, this boomer
You need to have an audience for it to skew
talking about
anywhere.
real life.
But
whatever.
they're doing retro games, so I feel like they're going to be like our age.
No, they don't.
Yeah. They'll get it.
Yeah, they'll get it.
Mike, was there something you liked about Mario Party before we go to the JoyCons?
I think the maps and the deterministic nature of the stars at the end
Yeah.
were probably the two biggest pros towards this.
Well, and I'm really happy to hear you say that, Mike, because a lot of people don't like the stars at the end. In fact, there's a Penny Arcade comic that makes fun of it, where it's like, "Oh, you have the least amount of stars. That's worth a star." Is it? Is it really? But it's like, but I
That was
think
the only one I ever won. So, like, I loved that one.
you love the pity ones.
I loved the pity star. I always needed it.
That's the thing, though, is that in this one, you know what the terms are. You may not know where you're placing, but like,
You know how to get those final stars. Yeah.
yeah, you know what it's looking at, and you know what is weighing in on that. And so you can do things like target JMO because you're pretty sure he's going to be getting those stars. So even though he's not in first now, it'll be a problem later.
Because he's going to get the minigame star. Yeah.
Yeah.
He used strategic booze, and I lost. Lisa beat me, so Mike, that might have been what tipped it. Actually, it was because I lost by coins. So well done. You screwed me over. It's like, that's the sign of a good podcast co-hostship.
Mario Party isn't about me winning. It's about just making sure other people are losing.
There you go. So before this Mario Party turns ugly, let's play one last minigame minute with our third and final blooper game, Sigma Bet. In this game, our players will take turns naming Mario characters because the Mario Party game makes great use of the Mario Party supporting cast. But there's one caveat. Each one must have a starting letter that has never been used by another player. So for example, I'll start the game by saying Mario, and now M is off the board. If a player gets stuck, I'll give them a 3-second countdown, and the last remaining player must get one answer to win a star. Any Mario character is fair game. You guys ready?
Oh man.
So this is just from this game, just from one, right? So I can't name them from a.
I say any Mario franchise character is fair game. And Mike, I know what constitutes a Mario game is loose, so I'll let you use that knowledge to your advantage. I know you want to, buddy. So Mike, will you start us off? And we'll just go in a circle around the Zoom, so the order will be Mike, Kyle, Jackie, Sarah.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Sigma Bet.
Luigi.
Okay.
Waluigi.
Princess Peach.
Nice.
Toad.
Okay, going good. Mike again.
Does Donkey Kong count?
Yoshi.
All right, Kyle takes the Y.
Shit. Goomba. The Goombas.
Nice. Jackie takes a G.
Bowser.
And now Mike.
Rosaline.
Dang it.
Nice. Good
Damn
one.
it.
I was holding out for
Rosalina.
her.
Hammer Brothers?
Ooh, Kyle's gonna be tough to beat.
No, I don't know.
Jackie's
Where?
up.
I
Whose
think
turn is it?
It's Jackie's.
I'm done.
Jackie's out. Sarah.
Shy Guy.
I was literally going to say Shy Guy. Even worse.
Mike.
Chain Chomp.
Nice. Kyle.
God, man. Can I use power-ups or just
Sure.
characters? No?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, props are good.
Fire Flower?
There you go.
Hmm.
It's a Mario thing.
I didn't know you could use power-ups.
Sorry, babe. It's Mario Party. So let's have to be fair.
Characters.
You want to get back in here? Sarah?
Pretty slim pickings here.
AEIJKNOQUVX and Z.
Ice climbers? Would you consider
Oh!
Smash Brothers? That's the only one I could think of.
I'm going to say no to Ice Climbers. Mike?
Koopa Troopa.
Nice. Kyle?
Oh, man. Yeah, let's see. How about... I'm out.
All right, Mike. One more to win.
Is there an Iggy?
Oh, that's good.
Is Iggy Mario?
He's one of the kids in 3.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mike with the win.
Yeah.
Clinching it. Sigma bet. Mike gets another star.
Nice.
All right, guys. Well, let's wrap up the conversation here with the JoyCons of Mario Party. I think we've kind of already touched on some of the things we find frustrating about it. Babe, when preparing for this episode, you asked about how much you can like swear. What about Mario Party frustrates you? Is it just the randomness? Or is that not really such a thing anymore now that you had more time to sit with it?
Yeah, I think Mike brought up the game of fishing. It was the games where like there was like no way to have a strategy to do better at it. You know, like I was like trying so hard to figure out the fishing, or like it was those games where it's like no matter what I did, it was just like I felt like I couldn't navigate it, or like, yeah. So it was more like that, where it was just like, so even with the games that aren't supposed to be just like pure luck, I still felt like there was no way for me to get better at it.
And then Sarah, you were lamenting at the fact that the shortest game was 20 turns.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. I was like 20 turns, and there was a lot more mini games in this Mario Party 1 where you would just like land on a space and then like one person would play like their own mini game, and I feel like that's something that kind of went out. I mean, they did do more things like in one of them, I can't remember if it's 5 or 6, there's like a lot of candy that will do different things. Like you can duel another player with like dual candy and stuff like that. So that does slow down the gameplay too. But I thought it really slowed down the gameplay to have these random, and they weren't even like the end of turn mini games. It would just be like they'd land on a space and then someone would have a mini game, and it's like that plus the 20 turns. I felt like was kind of a lot.
Well, imagine having to watch the AI play a single player game. It was like I wanted to
Yeah.
set myself on fire.
You say having, like this was forced upon you.
Well, yeah. I had to beat it, Mike. Had to play my sound effect.
Self-imposed goal.
I discovered one of the most disturbing things about Mario Party in researching for this episode. And if you like Mario Party, you might want to stop listening because it's that bad.
Really?
Yeah, are you ready for this, Sarah? I abuse the rewind feature to beat these games. And Nintendo 64 one doesn't have that, so you just save the game before you roll. It's not determined by timing. Your rolls are preset. So you know the moment of like shaking dice in your hand or having somebody blow on it, or like you're waiting to press the A button, that little moment of tension that happens every turn, it's false. It doesn't matter.
So it just has a set order of numbers that it picks from, and it goes in that order. How am I always on the bad end of the stick with the order then? I thought it was the way I rolled, but it's got to be, there has to be some reason that I always get 1s and 2s. There has to be a reason.
Like, programming, is there a reason?
I mean, I'm now taking it more personally that my first game, I rolled a 1, then a 2, then a 1 on my first 3 turns.
That's what I'm saying. I always end up on the ones and twos.
All right, guys. So anything else to complain about Mario Party before we render our verdict?
It would go. It can't go left unsaid that they didn't go into the future, grab Waluigi, and retcon him back into this because that's
That's the
obvious
only
flaw.
criticism.
Do you imagine Waluigi as German in your heart of hearts?
That's a good question. Yeah, I never considered it, but yeah, maybe.
What was that German phrase that means I lost?
So I miss, which means
I missed.
no, not missed, missed. It means oh crap.
Wait, so it's not, so you're not saying I missed like MISSED. You're saying like some German word.
It's a German phrase. SO space EIN space MIST.
So I missed.
So
I
I
missed.
missed.
So I missed. Okay.
Ich will la Juvie. Yes, those kids are speaking German, and they're not German. They're American. Remember Muzzy? Kyle? Muzzy?
What?
Yeah, I
Okay.
remember Muzzy.
All right. We're getting into Muzzies here.
I think one of the big issues here, especially for how it has unlockable things, is I 100% think that you should also get what the AI has won, because otherwise you're basically creating a punishment for someone who's already having to play Mario Party by themselves.
That's true.
Well, I mean, you can turn them into human players, but I mean, back in the day, though, you would have need to have had a controller, like a fourth controller. So yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, just there's no reason to have that. Have it just be this is what was won on the game. It all goes to the bank because it's effectively a punishment for not having more people to play Mario Party with. Because even if it's 2 players versus 4 players, that's a factor.
Totally agree. Well, guys, that brings us to the moment of truth. We've covered the JoyPros, the JoyCons, and every bit in between. So now it's time to declare the game from today's episode as a NintenDo or a NintenDon't. Basically, do you think is it worth people's time, all things considered? Babe, can we start with you?
Yeah, I think you guys can tell. I really just appreciate this game. I'm gonna do what?
You're getting emotional about Mario Party.
Well, yeah. Nintendo for me.
Yeah.
Should
Sarah?
I explain why? No,
No, I mean, yeah, I'd love to know why, but I think you touched on it. It's just like you
yeah.
it brought people together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a Nintendo, even though like I hadn't played this exact version, like I hadn't played Mario Party 1, I was surprised at how much of the gameplay was in there. Like so much of what is in the later games is already there. Like, which to me, like that's the sign of a great game, right? When it's like the pieces, like all you're going to add in later iterations are like variations on a theme, right? Because the game itself is like solid. So for me, all the Mario parties, they're a Nintendo.
Nice. Okay, Kyle?
I agree. That's a Nintendo. Yeah, there's problems, but you can see that the bones are good, and they iterated on it from there. So yeah.
I love the way you said that. The bones are good. Put that on the box. Mike, where'd you land? Because I know you played a lot more with the computer, so I'm curious if you also ended
I
positive.
think it's going to be a very narrow Nintendo, and I think that's entirely because this starts you off with 6 maps, and the maps all feel like they've got something going to them, and it doesn't feel overly complex to get to what those gimmicks are. That I think later Mario parties that would have fewer maps, or it's like, oh, there's this gimmick, but you have to do like a lot of work to trigger it, get a bit more frustrating. This kind of feels very quickly. This is the trick to this map. This is the unique thing about this map, and you can interact with it fairly quickly.
Well, and my thinking is very much in line with so Mike, you were Nintendo though.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is meant to facilitate fun with friends. I think this game is designed to be played in person and designed to make you bump elbows with somebody on the couch and laugh it up like we did. After we played, Kyle texted the group chat with "was fun," like actually fun, not just saying. And
I love this screenshot.
This is apparently the highest praise Kyle can give. So how can I not recommend Mario Party? Don't play it alone. Play it as it's meant to be played with friends, but definitely for me, a Nintendo. And last but not least, it's time to determine a winner of the first ever Blooper Games. So, in addition to the stars won in our previous minigame minutes, we have a number of secret stars to hand out. First up, the host with the most laugh out loud moments is all four of you because I forgot to keep track and you all made me smile so dang much. So, bonus star for all four of my panelists.
You got a star.
Hottest take star goes to Sarah, calling my AI manipulation a form of slavery.
Yep.
So Sarah gets a bonus star.
I'm so woke. I get the woke star.
This is what I get for not commenting on that bacon discussion earlier, that bacon is the papyrus of foods.
The papyrus of foods. Yes.
Oh, Mike's getting the hottest take. No, I'm sticking with Sarah. And finally, the guest host most likely to finish JMO's sentence is
Jackie?
I don't know.
okay. So technically, Kyle finished my sentence.
Oh yeah.
Which means the winner of the first ever Blooper Games is drum roll, drum roll, drum roll, Kyle Ford.
Nice.
Party star.
And we won't say who fell off the rainbow. Don't worry.
I know it's me. It always is.
Jackie got 2 stars. I love you, boo.
But
Never mind. With that, we're going to call it game over for today. The final score for Mario Party on the N64 is a Nintendo. Jackie, Sarah, Kyle, it meant so much to have all three of you on the show. Before you go, can you let the people know where they can find your wonderful content? Babe, can we start with you?
yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's Jacqueline Francis, Jaclyn Francis with an E, and I write poetry on there. And yeah.
If you want to see some brave and thought-provoking poetry.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I mean it. I really mean it. Finally, Sarah, nothing in particular you want to plug, but any wishes for our listeners in the new year? We're recording this in January.
Happy New Year.
Love it. And Kyle, can you tell us a little bit about where people can find your stuff?
Sure. I have a newsletter every Sunday called kylesjunkdrawer.com. You can find it. And then we have a movie and TV community at streamteam.club if you want to check it out. So
And that's invitation only, so they can message me on Discord if they want to join.
they can do that, or I can improve them either way. Yeah. So
Yeah, very cool. And that also is a place where you can get content with me and Jackie and Kyle. We have a couple of movie reviews on the Stream Team podcast. We've done Jesus Christ Superstar, Witches, Return to Oz, and what was the fourth one?
Popeye.
Popeye.
Oh,
And our next one's going to be Brazil.
Yeah.
Brazil. Yes,
Brazil.
science fiction movie, Brazil. Well, that all sounds excellent. Everyone join us next time when we'll be taking to the sky with Pilot Wings and Pilot Wings 64. Also, don't forget to visit www.theoldswitcheroo.com. There you can find links to our Spotify, our YouTube, our Instagram, and all the social medias you can shake a joystick at. You can even leave an old-timey voicemail, meaning we would literally love to hear from you. Or even better, join the fun on our Discord server where you can play games, talk games, and maybe even make a friend or two. Big thanks to Crystal Field for our incredible intro song, and thank you, dear listener, for liking, commenting, subscribing, reviewing, and playing along with us every step of the way. This has been the Old Switcheroo, where we've been talking gaming retro with Mike and JMO.
I've been Mike.
And I've been JMO. Game on, everyone.